What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA show. And today's video is all about UFC 313 and this incredible matchup that has finally been announced, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. And what's so fantastic about this matchup and the hype behind this fight is that I think once upon a time, people would have not been so excited about it. Now people are chomping at the bit for this fight. And I'm going to talk about why people are so excited. And I'm going to give 4 reasons as to why me personally, why I'm so excited as a massive Alex Pereira fan to finally see this fight. And even if it doesn't go in Alex's direction, which I really hope it does, but even if it doesn't, why there's still going to be an amazing outcome from this fight regardless. So anyways, we're going to jump into it right now. Let's talk about the 4 reasons why I cannot wait for this fight at UFC 313 on March 8th. Okay, so number 1, as I mentioned, right, people weren't so excited once upon a time about this matchup. I think that was the perception. Now people are very excited about it. Why? Because there was a perception of ducking. Now, it wasn't Alex Pereira who was ducking, right? He'll fight anybody. We know that. But it was more the UFC. People felt like they were protecting him from Magomed Ankalaev. I think this also goes back to the fact that the UFC has a fractured relationship with Ankalaev when he had the split or the tie, I guess you could say, the draw against Jan Blachowicz, and neither of them were declared the champion. Ankalaev said some negative things about the UFC. He almost said he almost wanted to quit the sport at that time, and I don't think they appreciated that. So that really fractured the relationship. So I don't think it was so much the UFC even protecting Alex Pereira, but they didn't want to reward Ankalaev. And by the way, I kind of understand that. That's his company, that's his partner, and he's talking negatively about the brand. I kind of see the UFC's hesitancy to put him in a position to win a title. But anyways, regardless, he has been the number 1 contender and the rightful challenger for the title for a long time, but he hasn't been getting that. And so it's building this anticipation of or this perception that Pereira's ducking him. Why is he fighting number 8? Khalil Roundtree? Why is he taking on these other fights when Magomed is right there and they're just not giving it to him? They put Magomed against Rakic instead. And so people are wondering, and Magomed does have fans. They were getting quite upset and quite vocal. Now they finally made the fight. And because of this prolonged delay and this perception of ducking, people are so excited and they feel it's an absolute true test. And that makes this very exciting because if Alex Pereira gets through this fight, oh my God, and we're going to talk about that in another point. But anyways, perception of ducking has built a tremendous amount of anticipation. All right, number 2. Now, talking about Alex Pereira's legacy, if he wins this, people agree essentially universally that this is the toughest matchup in the division for Pereira. And one of the reasons why this is such a tough matchup is he might have the greatest amount of grappling ability that we see in the division that can really challenge Pereira, right? Everybody perceives this massive weakness, this massive potential hole in his game that has obviously not been an issue because his striking is just on another level and it's so tremendous. But they think that potentially Magomed Ankalaev could expose this gap in his game. Now, a couple of things I'll say on that front. Obviously, he trains with Glover Teixeira, and we don't know how much his game has progressed, but Jan Blachowicz wasn't able to enact a strategy that involved grappling and takedowns that was able to basically stop Pereira. So I think Pereira is in a good spot, and I think he can do some great work here. The other thing is Magomed Ankalaev, I think I counted out of 14 fights in the UFC, he's only successfully had 10 takedowns, and he doesn't shoot that many. We've talked about this. He's really more of a striker than anything, and he's even said, now I'm going to stand and I'm going to strike with Alex Pereira. I'm not even going to shoot for a takedown. Whether or not that's true, we shall see. Fighters have said that in the past, and then they get into difficult moments, and they, of course, take that path. And that is not something that they should be faulted for. They should be trying to win. So whatever happens will happen. I believe in the meantime, Pereira, I'm sure, will be working, grappling, and takedown defense, etc. I think Pereira, despite this being a very tough matchup and Ankalaev being incredible, I think Pereira gets the job done. So I love that it is the toughest matchup. And I love that Pereira has taken it, and I love that he will likely win because this is really going to cement his legacy as just a total stud, just a true champ, and he's the people's champ. People love him. Name one person that doesn't like Alex Pereira. You won't find somebody, and that's pretty incredible to me. All right, number 3. UFC 313 is during Ramadan. Now, you guys might be shaking your head if you're a Magomed Ankalaev fan at this one. This is another reason why I love this. I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm an Alex Pereira fan through and through. He might be my second favorite active fighter in the UFC right now. Probably is, right behind Khamzat Chimaev. I love Alex. I love seeing his fights, and I always am rooting for him. I think I would be genuinely upset if he did have to take a loss. So I have to say, I'm kind of happy that I think Ramadan starts this year in February 28th or 29th. And so this is March 8th. This is a week in. And Ankalaev, I almost feel kind of bad saying this, but Ankalaev is a devout Muslim. He likely will be slightly compromised. It just sounds so shady when I say it, but he will. I mean, it's not the best time for him to be taking on a fight. Let's just be real. So what does that mean? That means that Alex Pereira is going to have an advantage during this fight because of the placement of the fight card. Do I think that's an accident? I don't. Do I fault the UFC for doing that? I mean, they got to make their money. They got to do their things. They're planning in whatever way that makes sense for the business. There's probably a number of reasons why that timing worked out. So it is what it is. If you're an Ankalaev fan, I'm sure you're going to be mad at me for even saying this, but let's just say straight up the truth. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The timing of this card favors Alex Pereira, and being such an unashamed Alex Pereira fan, I like it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, point number 4. In the case that Alex Pereira loses, this is the last reason why I love this matchup and I love this fight, because I want Pereira to win. I 100% want him to win, and I want to see him move up to heavyweight. I want to see him be so dominant because he's so likable and so fun. But in the chance that he does lose to Ankalaev, there's still something amazing that could be in the works. We just saw Jiri Prochazka have the best performance, in my opinion, of his career, as he has now incorporated a lot of head movement and other types of defense, keeping his hands up, good footwork, etc., moving in and out against Jamal Hill. So he has grown tremendously. He was already champ. He was already amazing. He was already durable. He was already mentally forged from steel. And now he's building onto his game, and he's getting that much better and can be that much more successful in this sport. So if Pereira does lose, assuming they don't give him an immediate rematch, which they might, but let's say they don't, and I'm down for either option, but let's say they don't. Now we got Jiri waiting in the wings, ready to strike, and I could see them throwing him into a title shot against Ankalaev. That would be dope to see Jiri go in and maybe reclaim the title. What a story that would be. So either way, any way you slice it, even if Pereira goes in and loses, there's still going to be really cool options for fight fans in terms of what would be next. We can see Pereira either, like I said, take the immediate rematch, or maybe he'll fight somebody in between while Jiri goes up and contends for the title. And then maybe we'll have the trilogy, not much of a trilogy because Pereira is 2-0, but still we can have one more final bout between Pereira and Jiri to see what goes down there. And they're both so lovable. It's kind of win-win in a sense for, I think, most fans like me, who are going to be fans of both of them massively. So anyways, those are my 4 reasons why I am so thrilled that this fight finally got announced. I think a lot of people were worried that they weren't going to ever put Pereira against Ankalaev, but they are. He's getting the shot. I think it's perfect. I cannot wait for March 8th. Let's see what goes down. Thank you guys so much for joining. Please like this video if you did like it, and make sure to click subscribe if you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA show. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.